Let's close the eyes and we'll find a nice, naturally comfortable sitting posture. So remember, we talked about a few asanas that are mentioned in our texts. Sukhasana, simple, easy pose. That's the pose that I'm in. Siddhasana, Padmasana, Swastikasana. Those are the few asanas that we talked about. Make sure it is comfortable. Become aware of the spine. Try to maintain a good posture with the spine, tall, vertical with the head, neck, trunk in alignment. Position the chin only very slightly below the horizontal level. Gently pull the neck up, tailbone down. Mentally feel that spine is elongated. At this point, make any adjustments if you need to make sure you're comfortable. No discomfort, no strain of any kind should be felt. Let the hands rest very nicely on your knees or your thighs. The hands are relaxed. Lift the shoulders up toward the ears, roll them back, let them hang loose. Shoulders are relaxed. Do a few gentle movements with the neck now. So you can do up and down movement, side to side. Small circles, big circle, or any other random movement that you want to try just to make sure your neck muscles become loose and relaxed. No strain. Gentle movements. Neck muscles are fairly tender. And finally, bring the head back to the center. Very comfortable neck muscles at this point. Soften the facial muscles and relax the jaws. Begin to watch your breath now as you breathe in and out. Just observe the breath. We want to make sort of friends with the breath. Breath is something that's available to us 24 hours of the day. It's happening all the time by itself. We can learn how to observe it, and eventually for pranayama practices, we learn how to manipulate the breath in multiple ways. It can help us stay in the present moment. It can help us in many different ways. A large number of benefits are identified for the pranayama practices. Just observe the flow. Feel the sensation in the nostrils, subtle cooling when you inhale, warmth when you exhale. Recite Om 3 times now. Take a deep inhalation. softly. Open the eyes. Namaste everyone. Welcome. Welcome to day number 4. Number 4 of this journey together for 14 days, and beyond that, continuing as a lifelong journey for your own practice. That's our objective for this program, is to eventually develop a lifelong journey. So before we move on, I just want to share with you the recommended technique for how we should chant Om. We chant Om in every class, and there's a suggested or recommended technique. So Om is as you observe, it's a composite of 2 sounds. The first sound is O, and then we transition to that subtle humming sound. Okay, so in terms of the duration, there's no rigid guideline, but rough guideline is that try to make the O sound longer than the humming sound. All right. How much longer? Again, no strict guideline. My suggestion is roughly 2-to-1 ratio. So let's say your total duration for the Om chant is 15 seconds. Try to do the O sound for roughly 10 and the humming sound for roughly 5. That's, like I said, these are very approximate, very suggested guidelines. There's no strict guideline. Keep that in mind. Now, when you do the O sound, start visualizing this. Again, a mental visual image you will create that this O sound is emanating and starting at the navel center along the spine. So if you look through the navel to the spine, that's the spot where you'll imagine that's where we'll start making the O sound. Okay, and then move that vibration up the spine. Pure visualization. Go all the way up to the neck area, the very top of the spine. Okay, that's your O sound. Now, at that point, you will convert that into the humming sound and still continue to move that vibration, moving up and finally culminating at this center called the crown center. In the chakra terminology, it's called Sahasrara Chakra. Okay, and then you can feel that whole area filling that with that final humming vibration. So remember, starting at the navel center, along the spine, all the way up to the neck area, convert that transition to the humming sound. Finally, fill this whole area with the final humming vibration. Now, when you finish the sound of Om in the class, we do multiple times, 3 times in the beginning. Okay, so there is a very brief gap between successive sounds. During that gap, just again, a pure visualization that you're able to feel that vibration filling every cell of the body. Kind of let it percolate every part of the body. Okay, and then do the next Om chant. So let's do it 3 more times with that full awareness of the vibration moving up the spine and all the way culminating in the crown center. 3 times. Take a deep breath in. That you feel that vibration filling every part of the body, every cell of the body. Okay, softly open the eyes. So, so far, what did I even forget? What did we talk about the Yoga Sutras yesterday? Did we? Anybody remember? Nobody remembers what we talked about yesterday?
Yeah, we did not talk yesterday.
We did not?
No.
Really? Okay, so anyway, let's
Trick, Supash.
what's that?
I said that was a nice way to try to trick us all.
I'm sure I would have talked about it yesterday.
I don't remember. We
Oh, I
talked about asanas.
Okay, maybe you forgot. Anyway, just want to briefly kind of summarize the very definition of yoga. Okay, so there's chitta, vritti, nirodha. Those are the three words that you definitely should memorize. So the whole sentence is yogas chitta, vritti, nirodha. All right, that's the definition of yoga. Nirodha is to kind of subdue or diminish or control, multiple meanings. And what are we trying to diminish? Vritti, whatever is happening in the mind. Chitta vritti. Chitta is the mind. Chitta is the whole mind field, they call it. Okay. So we want to diminish those so that we can, it's because of those perturbations in the mind that we don't have clear thinking. We are always kind of either state of stress or anxiety or confused or doubtful or worried, and things like that are happening most of the time. Cleanse that out. That's the whole goal of yoga, is to purify that whole field so we are able to think very clearly, we are able to focus on things, and our mind is very clean. And if you don't do that, of course, Patanjali says you will be completely identified with your thoughts and you'll be totally messed up all the time. But if you are able to control the mind, then you will eventually lead that to self-realization. That means you will know exactly who you are, what your true identity is. Okay, and then Patanjali also talks about these vrittis, what he calls these vrittis, which are how we create these fluctuations, these changes in the mind. What are the different ways things happen in the mind? So he has broadly categorized them into 5 categories. Okay, he calls them vrittis panchataya. Panchataya means there are in the 5 varieties, 5 categories. So the first one is, maybe I should share the screen so you can at least read the names. Let me see. Okay. Share the screen. So he says there are, these vrittis are of 5 types. The mental modifications are 5-fold, and they can be either painful or not so painful. The way we want to understand what he's trying to say here is that we have all these likes and dislikes. Everything that we do in life, every experience we have, it becomes either something that we like or something we don't like. All right. And then we kind of mold our behavior based on those likes and dislikes. So let's say I'm trying to pick an example how we can understand it. Let's say my favorite fruit is mango, right? Let's say I'm eating a mango, all right, and I'm enjoying the taste, and I like it. Okay, now that's a vritti, right? First of all, the taste of the mango is in my mind, on that mind field. and then I am enjoying it. That's another experience that I'm having. But now, if because of my past experience, if I say, oh, this is so good, I need to go and buy so many more, and I need to do this, and things like that, which are causing perturbation in the mind, more perturbation. Or maybe if I don't find the mango, I'll be very upset and all that. There are two aspects of this experience. One is a pure experience, right? Pure means you are eating the mango, you're smelling it, you're tasting it, you're feeling the texture of it, and you're enjoying it. The second part is that if you allow your previous experience of likes and dislikes or fear, oh my God, if I don't have this mango tomorrow, what will happen? That becomes painful, okay? Painful in the sense that you're going to cause some perturbation, further perturbation in the mind, and it can eventually cause pain. But if you keep that as a very pure experience, then it's not painful. The whole idea is every experience, how pure can we keep it without getting our past impressions into the picture? All right. So that's the whole idea of this vrittis. And there are 5 of them, and we'll talk about these in the subsequent classes. All right. Okay. So let's get ready for a little stretching. Come up on your hands and knees. And under the shoulders, spread the fingers wide, flat, firm palms. Knees under the hips. As you inhale, head up, tailbone up, but navel down. So you creating a little arch, a dip in the spine. Look up. Exhale, round the spine, where you lift the navel up, tuck the tailbone in, and the chin also to the chest. Couple more breaths like this. Simple movements, but very effective in loosening up the spine, making it healthier. A lot of emphasis on the spine in our yoga practices because spine is our basic structure that supports the entire body. Finish the next exhalation. Finally, bring the spine back to the neutral position. And at this point, if you're comfortable, sit up in the Vajrasana. Rest your buttocks on the heels. If that's not comfortable, go cross-legged, any position. And we do Kapalabhati. Always start with that. Okay. We're going to increase the speed today to 75. So far, a couple of days we have done 70. So today we will do 75. And if it's not comfortable, you can always go down in speed. The reason I use the metronome, there are 2 reasons for the use of the metronome. I just should mention that. Obviously, this metronome is going at a very uniform pattern. So uniformity of pattern is very essential. Okay, that's very important. It helps in many ways if you maintain a very uniform pattern. Okay, and secondly, because you're trying to stay in sync with the metronome, the mind is able to stay very focused. You're not letting it drift away. Because if it drifts away, then you will lose the rhythm. So you're using that as a trick to stay very focused. All right. So I strongly recommend the use of this metronome for your home practice as well. All right, let's go. If anyone has questions, if anyone would like me to check you out, please let me know. If there's a video, let me know that we are doing that. This will be final exhalation now. Completely exhale and then bring your breathing back to your natural rhythm of breathing. Come back to a standing position. And I forgot to mention, we have our good friend Venu here today. He's helping us out. All right, come up to a standing position. Close to the top of the mat with the feet together or slightly apart but parallel. That's always our guideline. Feet should be flat and firm. Body should be tall but relaxed. Roll the shoulders back. Very loose and relaxed shoulders. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, arms in front, up and back. Pull the hands up and push them back. Look up. Exhale, slowly bending forward. Keep the hands pulled away from you. Finally, drop the hands. Try and get the hands close to the toes. Bending over gently. Let's bend the knees. Position the palms on the floor. Align the fingertips with the toes. Left foot back. Slide it back. Knee down. Buttocks down. Chest up. Look up. As you exhale, right foot back. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Buttocks up. Trying to press the heels down. Look at your feet or your knees. Knees, chest, and the chin down now. Ashtanga. 8 limbs are on the floor. The 8 limbs being palms, knees, toes, chest, and chin. 8 limbs. Release the abdomen down. Lift the head up, chest up, palms up, and legs up. In the first round, we use the upper body to lift the chest higher. A little pressure with the belly to lift the knees up higher. And then palms down. Go back to the downward facing dog. Lift the head up, left foot forward, up between the palms. Right knee down, buttocks down, chest up. And as you exhale, right foot forward. If you can, stretch the legs straight. If not, bend them slightly, that's fine. Bend the knees. And also, if it's comfortable, you can drop the chest when you exhale. Lift the head up. The arms in front against the ears. And then as you inhale, start stretching up. Pull the hands up and push them back again. Look up. And as you exhale, straightening up now and release the arms down. That's for a moment. Together. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, arms up to the side this time and stretch up. Pull the hands up first, push them back, look up. Exhale, bending forward. Again, keep the arms in front. And finally, drop the hand, bring the hands behind your back. Interlock the fingers, roll the shoulders back. Get a nice feeling of expansion of the chest. And then as you inhale, pull the hands up and away from you. As you exhale, if it's comfortable, you can try and drop the chest down. Let's release the hands. Bend the knees, palms down again, right foot back. Right knee down, buttocks down, chest up. As you exhale, left foot back. Again, the downward facing dog. push the thighs backwards. When you push the thighs back, you get a feeling of the flattening of armpits, which might lower the forehead down a little bit. Doesn't have to. Just become aware of that feeling of flattening of the armpits when you push the thighs backwards. Knees down, buttocks back all the way. Child pose. This is where the buttocks are resting on the heels, forehead is on the floor or close to it, and then you just walk your hands in front. Keeping the hands where they are, slide forward now into the cobra. Slowly, smoothly, come up. In the cobra pose, the chest is up, but the navel is still on the floor. Palms are flat and firm, elbows are bent, shoulders rolled back. Try to get into the upward facing dog from here now. So set the elbows straight and then point the toes back and pressing with the top of the feet, see if you can lift the knees up slightly. So the effort is to lift the knees off the floor, but keep the buttocks still down. Knees up, buttocks down, and look up. That's the upward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And from here, we'll go back to the downward facing dog as you exhale. Again, look at your feet. Buttocks up, heels down. Lift the head up, right foot forward between the palms. Left knee down, buttocks down, chest up. And as you exhale, left foot forward. Legs are straight and see if you can drop the chest down. Lift the head up, this time bring the arms to the side, and then slowly as you inhale, stretch up. Once again, pull the hands up, push the arms back and look up. And as you exhale, straighten the body, release the arms down. And relax now. Sit down, comfortable, cross-legged for a moment, eyes closed. Just feeling any sensations in the body as a result of our brief Surya Namaskara practice. Softly open the eyes now. Okay, so we've been talking about the basic technique of meditation. Which is to, the meditation itself, when we do dhyana, which is the mantra meditation. When we do the mantra meditation, what we're doing is to recite a mantra, whatever you have picked. I'm assuming you have picked a mantra. Like I said, don't change the mantra, just stay with the same mantra all the time. And as soon as we start reciting the mantra, there's always thoughts coming up. Thoughts could be triggered by anything, right? The thoughts could be triggered by some sense perception. Either you hear something or you smell something or touch something, whatever happens, that's one source of thoughts happening in the mind. Everything, every input that comes through the five senses creates an impression in the mind. And then the other source, of course, is we have so much stuff embedded in our deep conscious levels, subconscious levels, as memory, as past experiences, as what they call samskaras, okay, vasana and samskara. impressions that we keep stored in our mind all the time. They're happening all the time. Any trigger can bring up any kind of thought. All right. So basically, those are the two sources of bringing stuff in the mind. Now, does Patanjali say that you have to quieten the mind completely? Does he recognize that thoughts will come in? Of course he does. He knows how the mind, that's exactly what he's trying to tell us in these Yoga Sutras, how the mind functions. Okay. And I'm going to show a picture one of these days, maybe tomorrow or day after, how the mind functions. Okay. But he recognizes that thoughts are going to come up. So what he's giving us is all kinds of different ideas as to how you want to develop your practice. And one of the guidelines he has given in a state where he is defining samadhi. Remember, there are three stages: dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. Samadhi is more deeper kind of a state where you are totally engrossed in your object of meditation. Okay? So the very initial stage of samadhi, he says, can be attained by focusing on these three attributes of your mantra. Okay, so whatever is your object of meditation, he defines three attributes. He says that try and stay within the framework of these three attributes as much as you can. So what are the three attributes? He says, in Sanskrit, the words are Shabda, Artha, and Jnana. Okay, let me explain these words now. The word Shabda means the word itself. Word. Shabda means word or a sound. Shabda also means a sound. So we have a mantra, right? And I'm just going to pick an example, Om Namah Shivaya, right? Now you can write it out in a certain way, maybe in your own language, maybe in Sanskrit, whatever your language is. So you have a visual image of how it is written. That's number one way of looking at the Shabda. The other meaning, as I said, is the sound itself, right? So Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Now that's a mental recitation, and yet you are able to almost create that sound in your mind. Okay? So you're totally focusing on that sound, right? That's the Shabda part. Now, this is what is a Shabda? Basically, it is a linguistic kind of a tool, right? It's a linguistic tool to represent something else, right? We have words like father, mother, laptop, mouse, whatever it is. These are all words. These are linguistic tools to represent something other, some other thing, some other entity. So this Shabda that we have picked, Om Namah Shivaya, what does it represent for us? Why did we pick that as a mantra? We might say, look, Shiva is a divine being, in our culture, in our scriptures, they mention Shiva as one of the three trinities in our Hindu culture, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Shiva has very specific, again, qualities, you can say properties, you can say, he's supposed to be the initial yogi, number one yogi or the most initial yogi, great meditator. He has so many qualities, right? And you just have to go through all that. But in your own tradition, you may have picked this mantra for a specific reason. And that reason could be, he was married to Parvati, and Parvati had, he and Parvati had several kids, things like that. And every one of them has qualities. Shiva himself has lots of qualities, right? So you may be attracted to something that you like in him, maybe because he has a snake around his neck, he has a moon on his head, all kinds of stuff is there. And every one of them has lots of deep, significant meaning. You just have to read about Shiva, and you will learn such fascinating stuff about him. One of those attributes would have fascinated you, and that's why you picked that mantra. So what I'm saying is, Shabda, the Om Namah Shivaya, is just a linguistic tool to represent something else. But that something else is what is the most significant for you as Artha. Artha means the very essential meaning, very essence of what you are representing with that word. Okay. And that could be simple. I'm just again taking an example. I like Shiva because he was the original meditator. He gave us this entire science of yoga. Okay, so I like him. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. There are multiple ways. So for you, that becomes the earth. And then the third part is jnana. Jnana means kind of a broad knowledge. Jnana means knowledge, but what kind of knowledge are we talking about? The moment we hear the sound Shiva, it brings up all kinds of images in the mind. Shiva, then there is all kinds of information about him. Like I said, his wife's name was Parvati. He was one of the three Trinities. He was the destroyer. He was known as they call it either the destroyer or one who dissolves everything back into its own origin. We have the creation, and then we have pralaya. Pralaya is dissolution, and he's the one who dissolves everything. In the Shaivite tradition, Shiva is known as the supreme being, supreme consciousness. He represents the ultimate reality. So, things change, but all that information is stored in our memory as jnana. Lots of different types of information related to Shiva, where you read about him, you know, oh, I have a friend whose name is Shiva and all that stuff. All kinds of stuff can happen. So this is what Patanjali is saying, that look, become aware of these three attributes of your mantra, Shabda, Artha, Jnana, and see if you can stay within the framework, within the purview of these three attributes. If you can attain that state, you are in a state of samadhi. That's what he says. Because he recognizes that the mind is going to drift away. It's not going to stay on Shiva only, all right? Not on the Shabda, not on the Artha, not Jnana. It might drift away. How can it drift away anyway? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Like I said, oh, my friend's name is Shiva. Oh, and his wife's name is so and so, and he lives here, and he was from India, and all that stuff. And the mind drifts away completely outside of the periphery of these three attributes. That's all going to happen. But what Patanjali says, keep bringing your mind back to within the framework of these three attributes. That's the first goal. And if you can do that, you are in a very deep state of meditation. Because now your mind is not drifting away outside of this sort of a circle, you can say. All right. Does that make sense, everyone? Any questions on this? This is our basic guideline on how we want to develop our meditation practice. All right. Okay. So remember the word Shabda, Artha, Jnana. Okay. So that's the guideline for our meditation. Let's go back to our pranayama practice. Okay. Let's do one more round of Kapalabhati. Usually do that at least twice. Come up on your, if comfortable, this is always an option. Again, I'm going to keep the speed at 75. Let's go ahead. the final exhalation, and then get back to your natural rhythm of breathing. That's the practice of Kapalabhati. Kapala, literal meaning of the word Kapala is the skull area. This whole area is called Kapala. And the word Bhati means to shine. Bha. It comes from the root word Bha. Bha means to shine or glow or radiate something. So it's the glow that you're bringing up in this area. That's Kapalabhati. And that because Kapalabhati in our text called Pradipika, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, that's one of the texts that I mentioned. It's listed under the category of cleansing practices. So it does a lot of internal cleansing, detoxification, purification, and that's why you can bring about a natural glow on your face. That's the idea behind Kapalabhati. Okay, the next practice we'll do is called Bhastrika. Now, so Bhastrika is a practice where we force both inhalation and exhalation. So if you compare it with Kapalabhati, in Kapalabhati what we did was to force the exhalation, and then we allowed the inhalation to happen passively. It just happens by itself, right? After every exhalation, let the inhalation happen passively. But in the Bhastrika practice, we force them both. So we are consciously forcing inhale as well as exhale. Again, short bursts, not long breaths. So there will be a sound you'll make both during inhalation and exhalation. And I'm going to demonstrate that first. But one key guideline is that practice, Bhastrika, should not be done by anybody who has high blood pressure problems. That means your blood pressure it fluctuates despite your being on medication. And also, if you have had recent heart problems, you should avoid it. If you have severe asthma, if you have any kind of severe cases of depression or anxiety or panic or things like that, where this is a fairly intense practice. So if you have any one of those situations, it can aggravate. But if you have none of those, it can actually help you tremendously. All right? So you have to be a little careful. Now we also move the arms and shoulders. So this is the starting position where you make a fist in front of the shoulders, and then you're going to throw the arms up as you inhale and throw them down. So when I say throw them up, it will look like this. Now my right shoulder doesn't work very well, so I cannot move both shoulders up. I can only move this up to here. But left shoulder I can show you. And you can watch Venu, okay, and synchronize with him. All right, so let me get you started. Just start in this position. And now inhale, throw the arms up, exhale, down, up, down, inhale, exhale, up, down, inhale, exhale. Keep going, forcing both inhale and exhale. Make a sound. Final exhalation now. Completely exhale and then get back to your natural rhythm of breathing for a few more breaths. Very intense practice. Lots of heat generated in the system. And heat also is, as we know, it's a cleansing agent. Heat purifies everything. So this is another way of looking at it. With this Bhastrika practice, we're generating heat, doing a lot of detoxification, cleansing, purification going on. That's the practice of Bhastrika. Now remember, we have also been doing this Ujjayi breathing for all our practices which engage long breaths, long and deep breaths, right? Ujjayi breaths. And using that Ujjayi breathing technique, we'll do a practice called Ujjayi pranayama. All right. You kind of distinguish between these two terms. The Ujjayi breathing technique is simply the technique where we constrict the passage here at the base of the throat and make that subtle hissing sound. That's the Ujjayi breathing technique. And that use that for all our deep breathing practices. Even during asana, I mentioned if you do the Surya Namaskar, inhale, as you will go slowly, use the Ujjayi breath. Okay? So now we'll talk about this technique called the Ujjayi pranayama. All right, in this one, you have to be a little careful in listening carefully because it gets confusing sometimes in the beginning. You're going to breathe in deeply, full three-part breath. Remember, when we breathe in, start by filling the belly out, expand the chest, and lift the upper chest or the collarbones upward. That's one full inhalation. So, okay, so breathe in through both the nostrils, inhale deeply. Now, when you finish the inhalation, we're going to lower the chin down and rest it on the sternum area while we are not breathing. So hold the breath. Finish the inhalation, hold the breath for a few moments, as long as you comfortably can. At that time, the chin is resting on the chest, on the sternum area. Now, when you want to exhale, okay, you can only hold the breath for so long. You know, everyone is different. How long you can hold it will depend individually. Lift the chin back up when you want to exhale. Now make sure you're using the right hand, okay? This is my right side. No, you have to know what your right side is. Okay, make a fist with the hands. You lift the thumb up, last two fingers up. That's called the Vishnu Mudra. We talked about it yesterday. Use the right thumb to close the right nostril. Exhale from your left side. All right, deep exhalation. Soften the chest, finally suck the belly in. That's exhalation. When you finish the exhalation, release the hands down, breathe in again through both the nostrils. So let me summarize. We'll breathe in full three-part breath through both the nostrils. At the end of inhalation, lower the chin down, hold the breath, no breathing. When you want to exhale, lift the chin back up. Use the right thumb, right hand, right thumb. Close the right nostril, exhale deeply from the left side, and then release the hand. Remember, in this breathing technique, pranayama practice, we don't exhale from the right side. It's only from the left side. All right? Let's do a few rounds of this. If you have questions, please ask. Do not hesitate. finish the next cycle, finish the final exhalation from the left side. At the end of that sequence, bring the hands down, continue with your natural rhythm of breathing. It's called the Ujjayi Pranayama. The word Ujjayi is spelled as U-J-J-A-Y-I, Ujjayi. Excuse me. All right. Let's do that practice we call the Nadi Shuddhi or alternate nostril breathing. So make again the Vishnu Mudra with the right hand, fist, thumb and the last two fingers up. Chin Mudra with the left hand, very soft hand. We'll go through 2 rounds together. So let's start by closing the right nostril with the right thumb. Exhale from the left nostril. Inhale from the left side. Close the left using the ring finger. Exhale from the right. Inhale from the right. Again use the thumb to close the right. Exhale from the left. Inhale from the left. Close the left. Exhale right. Continue now. So you have the pattern established, which is to exhale from one nostril and then inhale from the same nostril that you exhaled from, always. But at the end of inhalation, switch over to the other side for the subsequent exhalation. Try to maintain that full awareness of the 3-part breathing practice. Remember, 3-part being when you inhale, fill the belly out, expand the middle chest, and lift the upper chest upwards. And opposite, when you exhale, soften the chest and suck the belly in. So full 3-part breaths. Ujjayi breaths, soft and deep breaths. And you also maintain a count in the mind. So count each breath, inhale as well as exhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, etc. Keep a count. What you want to build is a ratio of 1 to 2 between the durations of inhalation and exhalation. So if your inhalation is, let's say, 4 seconds, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, try to build your exhalation. Try, not force. Build it up to 8 seconds. So the ratios will build up slowly over time, 5 to 10, 6 to 12, 7 to 14, go up all the way up to 10 to 20, etc. But no strain of any kind should be felt in these breathing techniques. No strain. Okay? That means your breath is very gentle and you're able to maintain this practice for a long time because there's no strain. So you should be able to continue with this practice for many, many minutes. Okay? This is called the Nadi Shuddhi. Nadi is the nervous system, Shuddhi is purification. So it's purifying the entire nervous system. Okay. So let's finish the next round. Short round today. So finish the final exhalation, which should be from the left nostril. You start with the inhalation from the left side and finish with the exhalation from the left side to complete full rounds. And at the end of that full sequence, release the hands. Natural breathing. Nadi Shuddhi, also called in Sanskrit, there's another name for this practice called Anuloma Viloma. Anuloma Viloma. Anuloma Viloma is kind of loosely translated as alternate nostril breathing. Nadi Shuddhi means purification of the nervous system. So that's the idea here. Okay? Let's do a lot of stretch, Paschimottanasana, just to get a good stretch of the legs and the spine. Keep the legs straight, feet together. Inhaling, raise the arms up, pull up, exhaling, we'll bend forward, slow, smooth. And as always, if your hands do not comfortably reach the toes, use a strap which will help you maintain good awareness of the spine. And when you exhale, you can attempt to drop the chest down just to get a little deeper experience of the stretch, but don't force anything. All these asana practices, they take time and practice to develop a deeper experience. You go deeper into the pose. Alright, stretch the arms out in front as you inhale, raise them up. Exhale, release. You sit comfortably cross-legged in any position for yoga mudra. Any posture that's comfortable for you. Keep the eyes closed. Go to bring the hands behind the back. Softly hold the right wrist. Eyes closed. As you exhale, begin to bend forward now. Slow and easy move. Go as far as you can. Stay there for a moment now in the final position. Keep breathing. It's called Yoga Mudra. Then slowly as you inhale, begin to come back up. Nice and smooth move. Finally, release everything you're ready for it, but relaxation, yoga nidra. Okay, so stretch the legs out, lie down on your back for a brief moment, and then when you're ready, you can come up into a half boat. We call it a half boat because you're not lifting the feet up too high, just about maybe a foot, 12, 14 inches. Legs are straight, point the toes away, stretch the arms straight in front with the fingers spread out wide and tight, tight fingers. Make a fist with the hands, tight. Let's rotate the wrists around. Pick a direction, do a few in one direction, few rotations. Pause, other direction. Pause, keep the elbows straight, fists tight. We work on the facial muscles, so open the mouth, extend the tongue out, curl it down toward the chin. Open the eyes also, and then try to tense up all the facial and the neck muscles, tight. With the fists tight, pull the hands away from you. Squeeze the buttocks tight. Thighs, knees, kneecaps, calf muscles, ankles. Point the toes away. This is where we will engage now every single muscle in the body, the whole body, every muscle. And try and bring it to a real tight squeeze, everything. Squeeze the whole body, tight, tighter maybe, and let go. At this point, allow the body to find a very naturally comfortable, relaxing posture. Make adjustments. You can spread the feet apart, almost the width of the mat. Keep the hands away from the body, palms facing up. Head resting on the floor very comfortably in the center, eyes closed. Once you find your most naturally comfortable posture, try and maintain it without any movement during relaxation. So you can mentally begin to scan the body from toes to head, making that nice deep mind-body connections. So mind is trying to perceive any kind of tightness or fatigue in the body. If it does, it can send in a wave of relaxation. And the muscles, the limbs that are tight will begin to loosen up. No tightness will remain eventually. Start feeling that subtle heaviness of the limbs on the floor. So feel the heaviness of the feet, legs, knees, thighs. Subtle sensation of heaviness. It gives us a feeling of relaxation. Feel the heaviness of the buttocks, the entire back, hands, arms, shoulders. Feel that subtle heaviness of the head and the neck on the floor. The whole body now. Body feels heavy, feels nicely and fully supported by the ground. Very deep state of relaxation. And with this awareness of heaviness, allow the body to gently sink into the floor. And now with the body relaxed, mind at peace, we'll try to enjoy this state for the next few moments. And to do that, we'll also set the intention to not pay any attention to any thoughts that might come up in the mind as we relax. Thoughts might come up, they'll linger around for a moment, then let them go. And we will continue to enjoy this beautiful state for the next few moments now. bring the awareness slowly back to the breathing and begin to breathe slightly deeper breaths now. Just trying to become more aware of the natural rhythm of breathing. And then slowly begin to stretch the fingers, curl the toes, hands, feet, arms and legs. Stretch the arms back overhead. Get a good stretch by pulling the hands back and away from you, pointing the toes away from you. Slowly roll to one side for it, just for a couple of breaths here. And slowly we'll come back up to a sitting position now. Again, find a very naturally comfortable sitting position. As I always mention, if you need to, you can always use a cushion or a block or a bolster to sit on, or you can just rest your back against the wall if that works for you. Keep the spine straight. That's our goal. And remember, we have talked about these three attributes. So when we transition into the mantra meditation, so keep that in perspective that these are the three attributes. Kind of identify those three attributes in your own mind, and then just try and bring your mind back to one of those three attributes as we go along, all right, in the meditation. But before that, today, the practice that we will do for dharana is to develop a deeper awareness of the body at the body level, physical level, a little deeper awareness at the breath level, so body, breath, and of course, then we go into the mind. Okay, so body, breath, and then the third eye as we have done in the past. Now, what we'll do today is to make a little extra effort to develop, kind of consciously develop more physical sensations, okay? So we can become more aware of them, all right? So let's stretch the legs out. Actually, yeah, let's do the Om chant first. I forgot, sorry. Just sit comfortably. We'll start working on these movements later. So close the eyes, sit up nice and tall. Do one Om now. So inhale. Okay, you can actually softly open the eyes now. What we're going to do is to create some physical sensations in the body, by doing some movements first. Okay, so place the hands on the side wherever they are comfortable. Stretch the legs. All we will do is to strike the knees into the ground. You can alternate to do them together. See what works for you. It doesn't matter. You just keep striking hard. Strike the knees, back side of the knees, bottom of the knees, hard into the ground. Keep doing that for a long time. You're going to create a good sensation in the legs now. Keep doing it. Trying to strike it hard. Like I said, you can do it together or alternate, whichever works for you. It's a good exercise in itself, just because it improves a lot of blood circulation in this area, the knees, thighs, legs. getting physical sensations. Okay, I'm going to pause here. Sit again, comfortable, cross-legged, whatever posture you are comfortable in. For a moment, feel the sensations in the body. The movement of the legs. Feel anything different in the legs, in your knees, hips, and thighs, etc. Have any kind of warmth, feeling of warmth or cold or whatever feels in the body. Become aware. Any tingling sensation, any subtle movement of energy in the body. Feel that sensation. Also create a slightly different sensation now by clapping the hands hard. So make a nice sound as you clap the hands. Do it for a while now. Oh, pause here. Feel the sensation in the hands and the arms, etc. Again, become deeply aware of what's going on in the body. In your palms, in your hands, in your arms, in your shoulders. Again, any kind of sensation, tingling, any movement, feeling of warmth, of cold, deep awareness of the body. Just mentally scan the whole body and see if you can perceive any sensation anywhere from toes. Have any sensation in your facial area? Anything happening in the head? Arms and shoulders, hands, buttocks, legs, feet, toes. At this point, we'll shift the awareness to the breathing now. Take 2 very deep breaths, full 3-part Ujjayi breaths. When you inhale, fill the belly out, expand the chest, lift the upper chest up. When you exhale, do the opposite, suck the belly in at the end. Do two very deep breaths. Whenever you're done with the two breaths, bring your breathing back to your natural rhythm, regular rhythm of breathing. And as always, we'll start by focusing at the tip of the nose. Just start observing the flow there. Same experience of the sensation in the nostrils. When you inhale, feel that cooling sensation. When you exhale, subtle warmth. Deep awareness of your breath. Now, shift the awareness to the throat area, the back of the throat area, where see if you can now feel the sensation of inhalation and exhalation happening at the back of this area, the throat area. Shift the awareness next to the entire, you can call it the windpipe or the bronchial cavity from the throat down all the way into the lungs, but try not to focus on the lungs yet. You're only focusing on the pipe and see if you can feel, mentally kind of visualize the breath moving in and out with each inhalation and exhalation. Feel that movement in the windpipe. Now shift your awareness to the lungs. Remember, we are not modifying the breathing rhythm. It's the same natural rhythm, but just very subtle movement of the lungs is happening. So visualize the subtle expansion of the lungs when you inhale and contraction when you exhale. Just the lungs, regular breaths. Now, with the movement of the lungs, you can also feel a very subtle movement of the chest now, chest in the rib cage. Again, no change in breathing. It's a subtle movement. Just feel that breath moving the chest softly, gently, expanding, collapsing, compressing, contracting. Shift your awareness to the diaphragm now. The diaphragm is that muscle between the rib cage and the belly. And the subtle movement of the diaphragm going on. In fact, diaphragm movement is the one which is responsible for our breathing practice, breathing itself. From here, shift your awareness to the abdominal area, lower part of the belly. Maybe there is a subtle movement there that you can perceive. If not, that's fine. Let's see if you can feel Any movement in the belly area. Gradually shift your awareness back to the tip of the nose, and next one or two breaths, just watch the flow there. Back to the tip of the nose. This is where we'll transition to awareness of that spot between the two eyebrows called the third eye or the Agnya chakra. Bring your awareness to that spot. And mentally visualize that vast expanse of space in front called the Chidakasha, consciousness, space of pure awareness, vast space. Then, when you're ready now, you can transition to your mantra meditation. And I just talked about the three attributes, Shabda, Artha, and Jnana, the word or the sound and its essential meaning and peripheral knowledge. Maintain that awareness as you continue with your mantra meditation for some time. Slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Watch the breath just for a moment at the tip of the nose. Please become aware of the body, any physical sensations that you might feel now in the body. Becoming aware of the surroundings, any sounds, smell, anything that you can perceive. And we'll join the palms now for our Shanti mantra, closing mantra. Let's try and do it together. I'm assuming most of you are familiar with it. So inhale. Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead me from unreal to the real, darkness to light, from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. Peace, peace, peace. Palms. Cover the eyes softly with the palms. It's the warmth and the darkness of the palms which helps us relax the eyes. Release the hands, join the palms again, raise the arms up. As you exhale, bend forward. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. With deep respect, I bow down to all my gurus, my teachers. And I'd like to pay a very special tribute to our guru, Sage Patanjali. Patanjali, who has given us this beautiful practice of yoga. Slowly come back up. And I thank you all very much. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of the day.